Hello, everyone. Yes, it is Wednesday, January the 10th. And I am your host, Kenda. This is Minding My Own Podcast, my show. It's been a little bit, but I am back. Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
We
Dezi.
here, and it's like, when did we get here?
Girl, just happened. It was like
Literally.
2024.
hmm That's crazy to me,
It,
honestly.
but it is a
It
blessing
is.
to have you here. You kicking it off with me.
And I am honored to be here.
I love that. I love that. It was so great to meet you this past weekend. I peeped your energy ASAP. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I do this. I don't know how I do this, but I blame it on God. Blame it on God.
Yeah, good people attract good people.
Absolutely. I think it was Kivana Beeman. Shout out to Kivana.
I love her. Hey, Key.
That's my girl. I was just at her book signing this past Sunday. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I'm salty I missed that.
Oh, you
No,
know what?
seriously.
You know what? She gave it 100%.
Mhm.
I got her book. My mom got her book. And even though you couldn't make it, she know where your heart at.
Yeah.
She
And
know
that's
where
why
your
I
heart at.
appreciate her. No,
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, she's dope. She's the one who actually shared her flyer for the Fearless Girl Puberty Workshop, guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
yes,
past
yes.
weekend was crazy. I don't know. I'm feeling excited about the direction that God is taking me in with the workshop. It was, you know how you can be doing something and then you're kind of floating above it,
Yes.
and it's like I'm here, but it's such an amazing feeling, and I'm just flowing through it. But also like, what happened? Like,
Yeah.
what was going on? I just know that the feedback that I got, it was so good. Like, people were, moved. Parents were grateful. The kids were having a good time. It turned out
Yes.
really good,
Yes.
and I'm grateful. I'm doing what God told me to do. Period.
And I'm grateful for you because my daughter had the opportunity to attend.
Yeah.
And immediately, guys, listen, the flyer was shared. It came down my timeline and I read it. I'm like, whoa, I got to message her ASAP. And I did. I messaged you immediately because I said, wow, she has to be an amazing person to do
Aw,
something like this for young girls,
thank
to
you.
really want to educate them and take some
Mhm.
time out of your everyday to give them some tools, some resources, and help
Yeah.
parents educate and help them feel comfortable in things.
Yeah. Well,
Kudos to you.
thank you. I really appreciate that because it's not like, even though you're like, you're saying taking time out of your day, it's literally not.
Girl.
This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love. I do it for free. The workshop was free. And when I do it again, hopefully I can afford for it to be free
I love that.
again, but I pray to God, like, please let me be able to do something that I really love, something that I'm passionate about, and make money doing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So the money is coming,
Yes.
but it wasn't work. It
It
was
wasn't work.
joyful. It was what I love.
It was a
It
calling.
was what I love.
I got to clap for you, boo.
Thank you.
I hope y'all at home clapping for Dezi.
Yeah, I hope y'all clapping.
Clapping.
Clap, clap.
Listen, listen. I want you to tell the audience a little bit more about you. You're from Milwaukee,
I am
born and raised.
born and raised.
Tell us more.
Okay, how far back you want to go? So born and raised. Let's just talk about like starting after. Nope. Okay, so I went to Morris Middle School. I went to Riverside High School. I went to Alverno for like one semester, and then I quit because that was very expensive. And then I went to
Yeah.
UWM. I graduated with my degree in social work. So that's kind of where my foundation came from. I've been working with kids since I was a kid. I can
Wow.
remember being like 12 and starting a babysitting business. So it's in me. It's not on me. It's in me.
It's in
It's
you.
in me. So anything that I do with my business Beyond Fearless, I started that in 2019. Anything that I do with that is with from a social work perspective, from a helping background. I love helping people. I love giving what I have, whether it be advice, whether it be education. I love teaching people, and so this is just a part of my journey at this point.
Yeah.
This is just part of where it's going, how it's
Yeah.
unfolding.
Yeah. And it's unfolding beautifully, by the way.
Thank you.
You're beautiful. Your
Thank
spirit
you.
is beautiful.
Thank you.
Those girls, let me tell y'all, those girls did not hesitate to hug her. Okay. They did not hesitate. They went in there. She had a beautiful setup, and we're going to show
Thank
you
you.
some of that later
Yeah.
on today.
Yeah.
But it's just a beautiful setup. You could tell she put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
The aesthetic was great.
Thank you.
And you're helping young girls feel confident in their bodies.
Mhm.
You're helping young girls, as you say, be fearless.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit how you came up with that name.
I honestly, I have a nonprofit. I had a nonprofit. It's dissolved at this point, called Fearless Indeed,
Okay.
and that was initially geared toward girls or toward young people who are aging out of foster care. And then as like life started to happen, I had to figure out how to focus. Like, how
Yeah.
do I take what I love and not, because of course we can do it all as women. We can help the
We can.
homeless. We can teach a high schooler how to apply for college. We can. It's so many things. And
Yes.
but when you're running a business, especially for, if you're a mom, or if or you're in school yourself, you have a 9 to 5, you have to wear all the hats. And so
You
I had
do.
to figure out a way to just like bring it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I brought up a way for me to work with women and young people. And so Beyond Fearless is really an extension of my Fearless Indeed company that is no longer here. But yeah, so I work with youth and women. Um, Fearless is not what what people might think it is. I feel like people think of fearless, they think of like, you know, being a go getter. And it is, but it also means being able to fail,
Yeah.
being able to be knocked down, being able to go through those challenges, and then getting back up
Mm-hmm.
afterward. Um,
I love that.
Personally, yeah. So personally, I have gone through so much in my life. I can't even. I'm gonna have to write a book. You know what I mean?
Write it.
I'm gonna have to
I'm
write
gonna
a
read
book with all of this stuff. But I thank God I don't look like what I've been through.
Oh,
I thank God, but what that does is that it makes it harder for me to, um, like, no, I'm not gonna say that. It's a blessing,
yeah.
because fearless is not just being great. It's about learning the lesson.
Learning the lesson, applying the lesson.
Yep.
I love that. I think
Yeah.
that's so important, especially today. You know, um, people are ashamed of being afraid.
Mm-hmm.
People can be more reluctant to talk about things or, deal with their experiences with other people. But I feel like this workshop helps to unify
Mm-hmm.
people. Young girls, like you said, you work with some adults too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're unifying people. You're helping people to come back full circle to say we all need somebody
Yeah.
at some point in our lives to get over the new, or to work our way to the new chapter.
Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
I feel like this symbolizes the transition, but in a way where people can feel comfortable,
Yeah.
especially girls.
Yeah.
It's such a scary time for us when our bodies are changing. I know for
Mhm.
boys too, but with us, oh, girl,
Yeah.
we got all kind of stuff going on.
All kind of stuff.
So
Yeah. I agree with that. I was just telling my daughter, I started this journal for her where every now and then I'll go in and it's like a regular journal, and I say, "Dear Samir," my daughter's name is Samir.
beautiful.
Dear Samir, and I just write what's happening in life right now. And eventually I'm going to give her this journal, because when I was little, and a lot of times as women, when we're smaller, we don't understand what our parents had to do in order to get us here.
That's true.
And we go through these phases where we have been traumatized because of how we perceive it as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so puberty is one of those times where we go through, one of the topics at the workshop is emotional changes. Our bodies are not just changing, our minds are changing, our hearts are changing. And so in order
That's
to
true.
kind of get through it, you have to normalize that. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be okay with the attitude. And it's not just the girls, it's the parents as well.
That's true.
Your daughter is going to have an attitude because her hormones are all over the place. And so that's one of the things that I talked to my daughter about. And I hope that that's something that the girls received at the workshop.
Absolutely. I'm gonna clap for you. Yeah. Yeah, girl. What? What? This is great. I love how you said our bodies are changing. They're going to have an attitude. This
They
is
will.
this is key. This is key for anybody out there.
Yeah.
Okay, them girls want to have an attitude.
They
Okay,
will. And they're going to be sad and they're going to
yeah.
cry for no reason. And they're going to be frustrated and irritated at what
Mhm.
they don't know. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they're coming into this time where, oh, I'm becoming a young lady.
Yes.
So I should be almost like treated like a young lady. But you really don't know.
They
You
don't
think
really
you know, but
understand.
you don't know. And
Mhm.
that's okay. So I can't fully treat you like an adult. But at the same time, I don't want to treat you like a baby.
Right.
And that's frustrating. That's a frustrating process for the girls and for the parents. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
I
And the
agree.
teachers. When you go to school, you like, whatever's happening there. So it's a process.
It definitely is a process. I feel like with me, I've got three daughters,
Hmm.
and they're 20 years old, and then I got 10 years old, and then I got 5 years old,
Yeah.
and I'm like, sheesh, the gaps.
Yeah, I
So
love that dynamic for you though. Just
you
to
love
be able
that?
to,
Yeah. I
just to
mean,
see
my
you
oldest daughter, she's
A1,
she's yeah,
like
yeah.
her mama.
Thank you,
Period.
thank you. She's a hard worker,
Yeah.
and she's a really good example for her younger sisters. Um, and I really love that my daughter Siri,
Mhm.
she she really looks up to her. So I know some people don't have that dynamic though. They don't. They have a daughter, like maybe just a daughter and a son, or
Mhm.
or maybe they don't have anybody else to talk to outside of their parents. And so
Mhm.
I think it's important to have events like what you're doing, because what about those girls that don't feel comfortable talking to their parents,
Mhm.
or they don't have any siblings to talk to, and they're experiencing all these things, they internalize it, and it can be bad. It
Yeah.
can backfire.
Yeah.
So you doing stuff like this, it really opens the door for some of those kids that are like, I just need somebody to listen to me,
Yeah.
and a lot of times someone on the outside they can become more comfortable with, because they don't have to worry about the judgment or the
Mhm.
backlash.
Mhm. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's the point right there.
So how cool is it that you sent an email out and you were like, no, parents don't need to be there because the girls don't open up as much.
No, seriously. Like I just think about, and my daughter didn't get to have that experience. Obviously, I'm here with her,
Yeah.
but it was amazing for me to see, like, when I'm asking questions, like, "Are you comfortable? How do you feel?" And I get to see her live saying, "I feel uncomfortable,"
Yeah.
because we were using vocabulary that were, you know, normal with terminology,
Mhm.
vagina, we're talking about vulva, we're talking about uterus,
Yeah.
and these are words that we don't use all the time.
Right. A lot of people create nicknames instead of calling it
Mhm.
what it is with their
Mhm.
kids. And so they feel uncomfortable with the actual words
Mhm.
themselves, because they're told not to say them,
Yep.
or they're shunned upon.
Mhm.
Um, I like this. I like this conversation with you.
Yeah. I like this
This is
conversation with you. Let's
Thank
keep
you.
talking.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually, this was one of the topics when I started the podcast. When Tone asked me, "What are some of the things you want to talk about?" This was one of the things, is helping girls through this. Now, this part right here that I wanna bring up to you is, what are some of the common challenges that you think girls face during puberty, and how does your workshop address those issues?
Yeah. I think one of the most prevalent challenges that stick out to me is the lack of support
Hmm.
that girls might have. Not that, so you can have a girl who comes from a two-parent household, right?
Right.
She has her mom and her dad. But that doesn't take away from the uncomfortable feeling that she has when she notices, I have hair under my arms now,
Hmm.
or I have breasts now. Like, how do I even start the conversation with my parents or with my big sister? Well, big sisters could be a little different because, they got a different special type of relationship. But
Hmm.
I think one of the challenges is having so many adults around us and we still don't feel comfortable
Right.
speaking up about our changing bodies. And so that's one of them. I had wrote some. Let me go to my notes because
Yeah.
I want to make sure I don't forget nothing.
Yeah.
So talking to parents, being comfortable talking about body parts. We talked about that. So
Hmm.
being able to say the actual names of the body parts. You should have saw them at the workshop.
They probably was like,
Ooh, it was so hilarious. I was like, okay, so here go the vocabulary words, and then I had a picture of the vulva, vagina, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say the word, and you say it after me. And
Mhm.
so I said it, and they kind of like, Like,
They're
like,
like,
oh my goodness, like I
ooh.
can't believe we saying vulva, vagina, like it's a big picture of a vagina sitting right here. Like, this is weird. And so I had to address that,
Yeah.
and it's not a bad thing. I think it's great that we're all here and we're talking about it, but it I want us to not have to start there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want us to start with being confident about who you are,
Mm-hmm.
being comfortable in your own skin. When you say vagina, you have it's ownership.
Right.
This is a part of my body, just like my arm, just like my leg. My
Yeah.
vulva is a normal part of my body, and I shouldn't feel shamed or embarrassed to talk about it.
Now, what do you think contributes to the embarrassment? Do you think that maybe it's the culture right now? Because I don't even know. Like, just trying to think back, as you know, I remember when I first got my menstrual, and I remember being scared. And I don't even know what made me embarrassed. I can't even tell you, because I had parents who were open about talking about it, but for some reason I just still couldn't understand, like, why do they want to talk to me about this? But it was like, I need to talk to somebody about it. I felt the most comfortable talking to my mom, but it was like I was super hesitant.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so what is it about our culture? What is it about the community? What it about the environment that we live in right now that has our daughters and our sons afraid to talk about their bodies?
Yeah. Ooh,
Oh,
he said it.
apparently it's linked to sexuality,
Yeah.
and it's shunned upon
Mm-hmm.
because it's only looked at as a sexual part.
Mm-hmm. That's a really big part of it. When we, as adults, our adult minds can look at a breast and think sex,
Mm-hmm.
but this is where we feed our babies.
Right,
This is not a sex. These are not sexual objects. This is a part of my body,
right.
and it has a function. It has a purpose. Just like my mind, just like my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he mentioned about church. Now I can't speak too much about that because I've never experienced like trauma in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that does happen.
Yeah, it
And
does
when
happen.
sexuality, the word sexuality itself is not like something that's openly talked about anywhere.
Right.
I think for us as adults, a lot of us, I tell my friends this all the time. If you got a bunch of women in a room and you say, raise your hand if you've ever experienced sexual trauma, molestation, rape, you would get 95% of women
Raising
their
their
hand
hand. Yeah.
because that's our history, that's our trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes taboo, it becomes more difficult to talk to our daughters about their bodies, about sexuality, because we didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
We learned it when somebody tried to touch us inappropriately. But the thing is, when you're starting this conversation at birth, this is your head, these are your hands, this is your vagina, this is your penis. When those are normal conversations that you're having at birth, it becomes normal.
Yeah.
It's not even like this is nope, that's just a normal body part. When you get in the shower, you have to touch it, you have to wash it, you
Mm-hmm.
have to take care of it. It's
Yep.
yours, it belongs to you, and it is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
because we skip those steps, it becomes embarrassing.
It does.
Oh,
for
I'm
people,
on
yeah.
my period, I'm bleeding. Look, it's blood. Like, that's normal.
And don't get me wrong, there are embarrassing moments when you're going through that stage.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always end. I mean, you get older and you're still conscious
Still.
about
Mhm.
those things,
Mhm.
and I feel like with our bodies being continually sexualized,
Mhm.
one of the other gaps is we are exposed to all these things through media.
Mhm. Very unhealthy.
It's like I
Yeah.
hear this on the radio. I was listening to the Breakfast Club the other day. I know this is something I cannot listen to when my kids are in the car,
Mhm.
but I'm just changing the station, and here's one of the episodes playing through, and it's just a commercial. I'm like, oh, I gotta turn that.
Even the introduction.
Even the introductions,
Yeah.
even just them when they play like a small clip
Yep.
of a previous episode, is just inappropriate.
Yeah.
But these are things that they're exposed to, even if it's just a commercial with a movie preview.
Yeah.
Sex is everywhere.
It's over sexualized.
Over sexualized.
Over the top. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, that's happening, kids, but we're gonna ignore it. And yeah, don't say vagina.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
Like it's weird. I
And the stuff that we are giving to them through the media is from an adult lens,
From an adult lens, yes.
which is why you got the Sexy Reds and whoever else rapping and singing about it. And I try not to look because it makes me sad when I see these little baby girls just rapping these
Yeah.
words. Like, you have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for
Ugh,
sure. It really is. It
breaks my
really
heart.
is.
Breaks my
It
heart.
shouldn't be, it shouldn't be like that
Yeah.
at all. At all. So I totally feel you on that. Let me ask you this, in your opinion, what role does confidence play in a girl's experience during puberty, and how does your workshop support this aspect?
I think confidence is really the foundation.
Mhm.
Like, I think we start there with having high self esteem about who we are, where we come from. In order for you to feel confident in a room full of other girls saying a lot of these body parts, it takes confidence to
It
do that.
does.
You know, they were kind of sinking in their seat, which is fine. But imagine if we were like, we know who we are. We know that this is our body part, and this is, we're proud of ourselves. We're not trying to hide and shrink or anything.
Right.
Just that self-esteem, that self-awareness. I think that's just the foundation of being able to receive that information, being able to
Mhm.
learn, being able to grow. And I think my workshop does a good job. We did a session with affirmations where we had them go around the room and stand up and say, "I am beautiful. I am fearless." And then once you said it, I would say your name. Yes, you are beautiful. Yes, you are confident. Yes, you are, you know what I mean, intelligent. And so
Yes.
we are not only allowing you to affirm yourself, but we're all affirming you as well.
I love how you're teaching them that.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
amazing,
And
girl.
my mentors did such a good job. Shout out to all of y'all.
Shout out to
They did,
y'all.
yeah, they did a really good job. I was excited to have them because it's one thing to go into a room and you are the teacher, like you're the focal point. But when you have
Mhm.
other women who are affirming you and who are coming with different perspectives and having different things to say about that same topic, it's just more powerful.
Yes.
It brings power to the room.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, that's another thing is other girls encouraging other girls to just be girls.
Yeah.
Just be
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah. Just be you. You are fine however you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that is an amazing message. And that's something that I think our community can contribute more to, those conversations.
Yeah.
In my opinion, people refrain from those conversations for too long.
Yeah.
We wait until our daughters start experiencing the changes before we start talking to them. We should probably start talking to them a lot sooner, before the puberty starts. Stop coming up with these nicknames for the body parts, because then they don't know what's going on. Um, so I don't know. They're experiencing these changes earlier and earlier. I know
Mhm.
it happened to me at 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Really
Um,
early.
and some people, it happens a lot later.
Mhm.
So it's just really important. I remember being in elementary school and everybody had boobs and I didn't have boobs yet.
Okay, yes, I'm glad you said that because I had the complete opposite
Yeah.
situation where I did have boobs, and at that time, by the time I was in fifth grade, I think I was at like a C, and
Yeah.
people would tell me my boobs are fake. Like, what do you mean? These are real. Why?
She said these are
And they,
real.
it's
Quit
like, how you
playing.
gonna tease me for having breasts? Like,
Right.
when I get a little older, this gonna be a good thing. Like, you just don't know yet. You just don't know. But
Right.
yeah, it was,
They just didn't understand yet.
yeah.
They weren't ready.
Yeah. Everybody develops differently at different times, but I
Yeah.
agree with you. Like, we should be teaching it when they're 6 and 7,
Yeah.
so that when they get to that point, it's like, oh, I knew this was, I got
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I knew this was coming. And I have more questions now, but thanks for giving me a heads up, Mom.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so I
Yep.
think we got to try and break that,
Yeah.
the norm, and
Yeah.
dig deeper, and educate the kids.
I agree.
So,
I agree with that.
can you talk about the importance of parental involvement or support in a girl's journey through puberty? I know we talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. Like, how else can they support them? You know?
So I had created this guidebook for the parents, for the daughters and the parents,
Okay.
and I gave one to each of the girls. And it just has like vocabulary. It has a couple of pages for the parents to kind of go over. And the most important thing, I think, when we're talking about how parents can be supportive, just create a safe space.
Yeah, I agree.
Have a calm demeanor about yourself. Don't be shocked. I mean, I
Mhm.
know it's like, oh my gosh, you already asking me about sex and boys, and but just know that it's coming
It's coming.
and be calm about it
Yeah.
and be cool about it, as cool as you can be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And one of the biggest things for me too is not knowing the answer. You know, as a parent, sometimes we just, I don't know,
We
child.
don't know.
And not only me not knowing the answer, I don't know how to tell you the
Mhm.
answer. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
it's okay to be like, oh, I don't know right now. Let me get back to you.
Can we put a pin in it?
Right. Let me come back to that because
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and then talking to other parents, you know, I put a list of things in my resource or my navigating puberty guide, which is free. If anybody wants a copy of it, just inbox me, Desi Grant. What's my name? Desi Ray.
Desi Ray on
Desi Ray
Facebook.
on Instagram, Facebook. So just inbox me and I'll send you the information that lays out some of the things that you can do, some of the tools that you can use to start the conversations with your daughter.
Awesome.
Yep. And not only start it, but how you can prepare yourself for when she asks you questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
Tone, when you get a moment, come over. We want to show the world the resources that she has. This is going to be very, very helpful to some parents out there. There are some single dads out there that have daughters and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Y'all can use this. Y'all heard them. You ain't gotta be
Right.
single. Just being a parent. You know, mom, dad. You don't know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna show you guys this workshop
That's it
pamphlet
right
here.
there. It's about
Nice.
10, 11, 12, 13 pages. You can turn the page. So this is a letter from me. Read over that when you get a little opportunity to. It's just letting you guys know that, you know, this is my baby pretty much, and kind of laying out what's in the packet.
Yes.
I wish that I had another date to give because I'm doing this again. And I know
Yeah.
we talked about my situation with me, you know, taking a leap of faith and relocating, but I want to do this again.
Yeah.
I'm coming back.
You know
This
what?
is not even time out for playing. Like this is required. This is
Yes.
needed.
It's something definitely to give us to look forward to as you
Yeah.
continue to commute back and forth.
Yeah.
And don't knock the digital world now. You can do
Okay.
some
Some
virtual
virtual stuff.
seminars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll definitely
See, you got
talk.
my back. See, that's why
Yes.
I
Yes.
mess with him.
Yes.
Okay.
See, we bring each other together. That's important.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So this is just a little message to parents. There's a little blurb at the bottom. The one thing that I did, like keep saying to the girls when we were at the workshop, ask questions.
Mm-hmm. That's
Please
good.
just ask questions. The only way to learn, I mean, you can receive information, but the best way is to be curious and ask questions.
I
Don't be
love that
afraid to do it.
advice.
No question is stupid.
No question is stupid.
Yep, no question is stupid. So
That's awesome.
click on through. So here's the page that I appreciate the most. Things that I give to parents, different things that they can do to have healthy conversations with their daughters. Um, I don't know if everybody can see this.
Yeah, they can
Everybody,
see it.
okay.
Yep.
Well, you see is how they see.
Okay,
Yep.
period. So read through it. I mean, look at it. I don't want to. So when I did the workshop, I put the PowerPoint up, but I wasn't reading from the PowerPoint.
Okay.
So we're having discussions about these topics, and we're inviting questions and conversations. So I'm not gonna read this. I want you guys to kind of look at it yourselves and take what you take from it. But like I said, if anybody want a copy of it, I'm offering this PDF this for free right now, because I think we need it.
Yeah.
Eventually that price gonna go up. So
Take advantage while you can.
right,
But
take
you're saying,
advantage.
hey, it's here for free right now.
Yep. So these are some of the vocabulary words. The first page is more PG. Talks about just the different changes in your body, puberty, adolescence, some of the terms that we use. And this
Mhm.
is not everything. And we
Yeah.
know as women, it's
This is just
so
a
much.
snippet.
This workshop was 2 hours, but it can be easily 2 days,
Mhm.
3 days. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Depending on what needs to be addressed. So these vocabulary words were kind of like, these are the ones that the girls started to be like, ooh, sex, sex, sex.
Yeah, they started getting a little nervous.
A little nervous,
Mhm.
nervous, which is normal. So I for this packet, I kind of define sex is a word that's used to talk about whether someone is a boy or a girl.
Mhm.
Because we know that as adults we can project what sex is You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they can have questions about sex. And this workshop wasn't geared toward reproduction. We did touch on puberty, I mean, period, which is when your egg travels from your ovaries through your fallopian tubes to the uterus.
Mhm.
But then I right away just said the egg doesn't get fertilized. And so we didn't have to talk about a baby developing, how did the baby get there? And
Right.
because we know that that's a
Because that's a whole nother
mhm,
workshop.
whole nother conversation.
Yes.
So this is my daughter. She's 11,
Oh,
and
she's
I thank
pretty.
you. I
You're
had her
welcome.
write her own little blurb about when she first started puberty. She did a really good job, and I'm so proud of her. And she's so proud of me. She told me before I
Oh,
got here, like, "Oh my God, Mom, I'm so proud of you."
that is so dope. That is so dope. I love that.
Oh,
I
for
lo-
that Fearless Girl highlight, sorry to move on real quick. So the Fearless Girl highlight, yeah.
Let's go back.
So the Fearless Girl highlight is not meant to just highlight my daughter. I would like to highlight other girls as well, if
Yeah.
they're comfortable, because we all have different experiences, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if your daughter has a story that she wants to share, her story is going to help somebody because it's just different, and
Yeah.
it's different for each girl. So I would love to have some other girls, if you guys feel comfortable, if they feel comfortable telling their story, let me know and I will highlight them.
Y'all let Dezi know, y'all. Make sure y'all reach out to her. This
Reach
is
out.
great.
So this page is talking about hygiene. We spent quite a few minutes on this one because we realized. I think I posted something on my story. The little girl talking to her dad. He got like an onion in his hand and like making her smell it. And I smell your underarms. I smell the onion, and she like that smells completely different. If you started puberty and you're not using deodorant, we know it can smell like onion.
Right,
So,
right. That was
uh,
actually a good way of him to, kind of show her. That was a good,
yep.
it's a good
Now you know you
idea.
need to wash. Because you
Yeah.
don't have to smell like onion. Just
Right.
make sure you washing yourself. Make sure you putting on deodorant. Make sure you lotioning up your body, taking care of your skin.
Mm-hmm.
This is all a part of being an adult.
Yep.
Starting to grow up and taking care of your body. This is something that you need to pay attention to.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
So
It's true. That's good. That's a good one. And we just gonna pause for a second. We got some comments here. Let's just take a look
okay,
quick and see.
Ashley. Hey, boo.
So I'm gonna shout some of y'all out. Talk is cheap with Kiana J. Hey, Kiana.
Hey.
She says young women don't understand they have three bodies: the kid body, the
Mm,
teenage body,
yes,
and the grown woman body.
I agree with that.
They get their bodies done before the grown woman bodies come.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think is she talking about like BBW type of
I'm
thing
think I'm
or
thinking I'm thinking
yeah?
she's talking about cosmetic
Oh,
surgeries.
that's tough.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
I have met a lot of women who are barely 25 and have already altered their appearances.
Mm.
Getting their nose done, their breasts done,
And
veneers.
men, you think about things like nose and breasts and stuff like that. I have heard situations where you even have girls still in their teenage years and their parents are co-signing
Mm.
for this type of work to be done
Oh.
because society cares a lot about imagery
Mm-hmm.
and not understanding.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
very important conversation that we
It is.
we should discuss.
Yeah, I think that goes with that confidence piece. It just strips them
It
of the
does.
ability to be confident in who they are.
I
A lot of
agree.
them don't become confident until they get the extra work done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I have definitely seen and heard on numerous occasions of women who are unhappy with their breast size and they'll go through implants. Their confidence shoots through the roof because now they feel like they have something that people will look at, not realizing a lot of guys and girls for sexuality spectrum
Mm-hmm.
uh, like them as they were.
Mm-hmm.
Like you being part of the things that you
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
They need you to make the changes.
Mhm.
Now, this new attitude kind of has changed us to even consider you.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
yes, you're getting attention, but it's the right kind of attention.
Mhm.
Right.
That
Right.
part.
But that's another conversation. It's not my show.
Yeah, but you hitting on some stuff
But
there.
definitely hit some good points.
You
Yeah.
got some. You making some points there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have Ashley Stokes. Shout out Ashley. Thanks for watching, dear. She says, or because we didn't deal with our own trauma, so we're actually not into our own. We're not into our own trauma, so we don't have the convos with our babies. Oh,
Mhm. That part.
that's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Parents now don't want.
Yeah, turn your mic on because the audience can't hear you.
I mean, like now there are a lot of parents who do not know how to have the conversation about the birds and the bees
Mm-hmm.
with their kids because one, they either a never had that conversation, or their actual sexual experiences is not commonality.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, not trying to hijack your show or anything like that,
No, you're
but
fine. I
there's a
like the
lot
feet. I
of
like
there's
that.
a lot of men now who are coming to the self actualization that a lot of their first sexual experience was actual sexual abuse,
Mm-hmm.
where older women took advantage of them as younger men, and because in the male-dominated society, we look at that as a badge of honor, as sleeping with older women, not realizing you were literally being taken advantage of, you were being manipulated.
Yeah.
Seeing the fact that your mom's best friend is even googling and idolizing you, even as a young man, is very problematic.
It's very problematic.
Whew.
And we don't really question that like we do with our young girls.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to be very protective of them. And then, like you said, 95% of the women in the room can say that in some shape or form they have been sexually assaulted or sexually abused. So how can we as adults in a lot of cases talk to you about what is sex when our understanding is misconstrued?
It's definitely misconstrued.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel that.
Good points.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Ashley and Kiana, for chiming in. This is really, really, really helpful. Can you scroll up for me? I want to see what that
Hey,
comment is up
Nay.
there.
I see you. She said, good conversation, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, good conversation. Our bodies are very important. I had a hysterectomy and gained 40 pounds in 1 year. I've been depressed. Oh, I'm so sorry to
Yeah,
hear.
that's crazy. And we haven't touched on, like, as you know, being a woman and the complications that we have with our bodies as
Yeah.
we're getting older. You know, the lady who said there are 3 stages, 3 bodies. And we haven't she mentioned 3, but what about when we get to older adults?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we are having those hysterectomy, even before older, but the complications that we have, like it's a lot of women who can't have children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that's like kind of off topic a little bit, but
But it all
it
connects.
plays into our bodies and how we
Mhm.
deal with our bodies and how we, you know what I mean, accept ourselves and how we're able to have these conversations with our young people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very
So,
important.
it is.
All of it. It comes together full circle. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, she said lack of knowledge
Mhm.
also can contribute to it. Absolutely.
I agree.
So then we got the next slide here, puberty.
Yeah. So this is directly from the PowerPoint that I created for the workshop, but I wanted the guide to have more. I wanted to be more meaty, you
Mhm.
know. So I added it here. Puberty is the physical and emotional changes that take place in kids as they grow up and mature. The curriculum that I developed to go with this, um, I can look at it, or I can send you the curriculum, or I kind of pulled from a few different sources.
Yeah.
And if you paid attention to like some of the pictures, I had a table there where I had like all of the books, all of the resources that I used to pull this whole curriculum together. But it lists the physical changes, the social changes, and the emotional changes.
That's what I was going to say. The only thing I would want you to change on the slide is instead of saying physical and emotional,
Mhm.
say physical, mental, and emotional.
Yeah.
Because usually during the stages of puberty is when the way they look at themselves and the way they look at the world is literally the most critical.
It is.
The most critical. Because what happens during those years usually can define how an individual's mentality is going forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes making sure that you're cultivating their mind at the exact same time that they're doing all this definitely can make some pretty good people
Hmm.
Yeah.
or some fucked up people.
I remember one of the biggest challenges that I had with the puberty piece was I was a tomboy, as they called it back then. I don't even know if that's still,
It's
if
still
they
I
still,
think it is.
okay.
It's still
Right.
there, but with sexuality being a spectrum, you got to be
Yeah,
careful.
that's what I
Okay.
mean. So I don't
Okay.
know. But back then when we were coming up, it was you were a tomboy. And so I was just more so into me, and I was more concerned about developing my own individualism and my style and not looking like the standard, feminine girl or anybody. I just wanted to wear what I wanted to wear. And a lot of times I like baggy clothes and then I started to get friends and I noticed they weren't dressed like that, and they're like, why are you wearing all these baggy clothes? And and oh, you don't have a boyfriend yet, or you're not talking to boys. And I realized right away, like, whoa, we're all growing at a different pace.
Right.
Some of them like boys already, and I'm not ready for boys.
Mhm.
Some of them are already acknowledging their assets, and um, I, we're like 12, and
Yeah.
it was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
and I know that today it's even worse.
It's even and it's not. I feel like it's not so much of worse as complicated because
Yeah.
we don't know. I don't know how to talk. So I'm just gonna be transparent. And my baby girl, if she watching, I love you, and I'm not trying to blast you or nothing. But at one point in time, she expressed to me that she might be gay,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I don't know how to talk to my daughter about her sexuality because I only have my experience.
Right.
And so what I did is I did my research. I started talking to people who, I got a job at a company that serves LGBTQ youth. And so I'm like on purpose intentionally educating myself so that I don't traumatize my daughter and make her feel like she can't be who she is in her own skin. That's the challenge right there, but
It is. But
Kudos to you.
I've had that conversation.
and then it turned out that she's not gay. She just was,
Just trying to figure it out.
identifying. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's literally the first question that I have always learned to ask is, why do you feel like you're that way?
Mhm.
Always ask the whys, or not saying no, you can't be, or no.
Right.
Like, why do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Right.
And usually, a lot of times, it's a misunderstanding or just a communication, or just like, well, A, B, C, D. Like, kids are sponges.
Mhm.
So I had a friend who thought he was gay because he liked to draw, and he learned to draw from his uncle who happens to be gay.
Mm.
So he associated with liking and being similar to his uncle in things as a definition of why he was gay. And instead of his mother trying to figure out where that came from, she was like, "Nah, you're not gay. You've been liking girls since kindergarten. You always was feeling on somebody's booty, so you're not gay." But instead of just asking, like, "Well, why do you feel that way?" A simple, "Oh no, baby, drawing has nothing to do with that." And now you have that conversation. Or in this case, because he has an uncle he's close to, apparently, you have the uncle have that conversation with them, and then he can have a better understanding of that instead of just saying, "No, you're not because you do A, B, C, D over here."
Right.
There's a lot of guys who do A, B, C, D over here and really be feeling this way over here.
Right.
So it always starts with the why when it comes to asking those kind of questions of where somebody, like my daughter, my oldest, she's 10. For some odd reason, she has a new boyfriend every 2 weeks. And I'm like, why do you feel like this is your boyfriend? And then she'll talk about, well, we play house and we do this at school, or we play these games together. And this one was my partner last time we played, so now we go together. So that's not what
Right.
the friend is your friend who happens to be a boy.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend, completely different story.
Mhm.
And then we had the conversation of when emotions get involved. It's like, do you feel this way about him? Do you feel that? No, he's oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't have a boyfriend. You're
Right.
just good friends.
Yeah.
You're just friends, baby. You can't have a boyfriend until you're 22 anyway. You're just friends.
That part. So another healthy thing that I think I was, successful with bringing up at the workshop is one of the social changes. I had a social. It might come up on the next couple slides, but we talked about friendships. We talked about boyfriends, and it was just a quick blurb. But we talked about make sure that you're talking to your parents about your feelings. It's okay for you to have these feelings. Sometimes we like boys, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we think boys are cute, and sometimes we think they're weird. But
Cooties.
right, cooties. And so make sure that you have never forget with your parents. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll never forget the cooties term.
Oh, okay. Yeah, boys are weird. They will continue to be weird. I'm sorry, but we just two different species.
We are.
It's a lot of differences between us. So it's a lot of things that we don't understand about each other. So
that's true.
I
Still
pretty much told
today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even as we're getting older, especially in the dating world today.
Hey, y'all just weird too, okay?
I'm okay with being weird. I own my weird. I tell my daughter, own your quirky, okay?
Yes.
You are who you are. Be yourself.
Yes.
Y'all changing from weird to quirky ones. Says we gonna be this week.
He said,
Y'all weird.
Y'all weird too.
Okay, so we talked about emotional changes at the workshop, and just this is the conversation about, girls, we might have attitudes, we might be frustrated, it might come out of nowhere, but it's just your hormones going, through their process of changing your body. So they're gonna feel like, it's gonna feel like sometimes you might not know why you upset or sad, crying for no reason. But be kind to yourself. It's okay.
I like that you put this in there, because as we become adults, as women, it's like y'all need to check y'all emotions. Y'all emotions is all over the place, and even people have a hard time dealing with us when we're in an emotional state, and it's been told to us that we need to turn those off, or we need to ignore those things and be stronger. That's kind of where that strong woman thing comes from. Is you got to hide
Control
those things,
manage it.
Yeah.
Just I feel like we should just be not allowed to be reckless or not allowed to be just mouthy or rude, but allow grace. Like, just understand that this is normal, especially when we're on our period. And my husband, he was telling me, like, sometimes that gets weaponized. Oh, she just on her period. Oh, she just going through this. Like, you can't use that as a weapon against me.
I hate that.
You can't do that.
I hate it.
You can't do that.
As a member of the male delegate.
The male delegate.
Oh, he said he got to say his part.
As
Okay.
a member of the male delegate who has dealt with countless women in my household. As a man of 7 sisters, 2 mothers, 3 grandmothers, 2 daughters, and a slew of nieces. Member of the male delegate.
Okay.
We understand when y'all going through what y'all going through, we will never truly understand what y'all go through.
It sucks.
Okay. And as a member of the male delegate, I am okay that I will never experience that, because y'all really be out there reckless. Okay?
Hold on.
Hold on.
How you trying to do us?
Right.
But as you ask for grace and poise for us to understand that when you're going through this time, do not weaponize it. Love you, respect you, rub you, get your favorite sweats, your chocolates, your wine, whatever else you need. When you get reckless, just apologize for what you said and did. That's all we ask.
Okay.
I understand you might spaz on us.
I could do that.
But if you don't want us to weaponize it, at least apologize for your behavior. Doesn't have to be right away. It could be after y'all done with it.
Okay.
It's like, baby, I'm sorry. I understand that last week I kind of told you wasn't shit. I'm sorry. It came from a deep place. God, we sometimes can be evil, so God got to make us bleed every 28 days to get that out of us.
Okay.
Just apologize. That's all we ask for y'all. If y'all would apologize for what y'all say to us during that time frame, we can work with y'all.
Okay.
He a mess.
I think I can do that.
That's all we ask.
So do we need to teach our daughters to apologize when they get the? Okay,
I think so.
Yeah.
You know why?
Not trying to get off topic. Just teach your daughters to apologize. Period.
In general,
Teach them
right?
to apologize
Yeah.
in general.
Like,
Yes,
y'all
absolutely.
sometimes weaponize things that we tell y'all, and there's a whole issue. Just apologize. Everybody apologize.
Just say I'm sorry.
For what they say and do. We can grow and be better people.
We can definitely grow and be better.
I can do that.
I agree.
Especially since a lot of times, women are. I'm just gonna speak for me. I think I'm right all the time. Like, there is nowhere on the planet Earth where I'm not right. If I'm wrong, I could have been right about something. It's just about perspective. When I'm wrong, it's because that's it's okay though.
She like, I might not have been, 100% right,
I was a little
but it was a part of it
right
that applied to the
Exactly.
situation.
So, but what we can do though, what I agree with, is just learning to take ownership, and accountability for when we're not right,
when we're not,
or when we could have been right but we were wrong.
And what we will do is we will acknowledge that 3% that you were correct. And so I understand what you was going here. You were
3%.
Right.
Wait. Back it up with the 3%.
Right. Because I thought it was more like 90, 85.
Yeah, I was going to say more like 90%.
Right.
So we can agree to have that happy medium.
Yeah.
Okay, 10%.
Let's go to the next slide.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Yep. So we didn't spend too much time on your period. My wonderful mentors were there to make sure that they kind of asked questions. A lot of the girls at the workshop were, I would say, between the ages of 10 and 12,
Mhm.
maybe 13.
Okay.
And I think that that was great. Like, I am just so grateful because moving forward, I'm probably going to break it up. So the workshop was, it invited 10 through 16.
Mhm.
And I just think that the dynamics between a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old,
Are different.
like, completely different. Even when I address the issue of boyfriend, it's a lot of 16-year-olds who have boyfriends and who can have boyfriends. But with this group, I had to say, and we're not going to have boyfriends. And the kind of conversation was, if you don't know your body,
Mhm.
if you're not comfortable with your body, then it's not a good time for you to invite a boy into your space.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the way that I took that. But just addressing periods, just the basics of it. Every month you have one. It's because your egg doesn't get fertilized. I left it there
Mhm.
instead of going into how a baby gets developed. Um, some of the vocabulary I used, it was a really, I think I kind of was, I wish I would have had more time because I wanted to have like underwear and show them how to put the pad on the panties. And
Yeah.
even I had a question from one of my mentors and she asked about tampons because in our gift bags, which Target so graciously donated us a bunch of gift bags.
Oh, well, shout out to Target.
Shout out to Target.
That was nice.
They put tampons in the bags, and I was gonna take them out, but I was like, you gotta know,
They
you
gotta at
learn.
least know that
It's
that
an
exists and
option.
it is an
Mhm.
option when they're comfortable.
Yep. But I didn't plan on having that conversation, so one of the mentors brought it up, and I was like, oh, okay. Now how am I about to explain this question? So I went back to the workshop. It was a big vulva, just a big vagina. You could see the hole, and so I'm like, okay, so this is a tampon. Here's how you hold it. Here's where you insert it. And I had to kind of leave it there because I wasn't prepared to talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But
I understand.
yeah,
That's one of them things.
yeah,
So
You got to let the parents talk about something.
yeah,
right,
Well, I like how you touched on it and you left the door open.
yeah. So we talked a little bit about bras. I brought a paper. It wasn't supposed to be paper. It was supposed to be like a regular tape measure
Mhm.
to see if anybody wanted to get measured to see what their bra sizes were. But
Oh,
it was a paper tape measure. Like, who makes paper tape measures?
oh,
And it ripped, so I couldn't even do that activity. But we talked about bra sizes and that the number equals the band size, the cup size is the letter. So I encouraged them to go to like a Victoria's Secret or a store where they sell bras and get fitted.
this size. Yeah,
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. And there's different types of
I love
bras.
that.
There's
Yep.
sports bras. There's strapless bras.
Yep.
Yeah. So they know when and how to use them. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good information. And you said this is how many pages?
Oh, about 14.
Nice.
This is the second to last page, so I know where we at now. So
Okay.
this is just a little quiz. If they went to the workshop, they have all of these answers. I
Nice.
encouraged them to write notes, so I gave them all journals. And so if something came up and they were like, "What is that?" I said, "Write it down," because we might not be able to get to all the questions. So,
But then they can ask their
go back.
parents.
Yep, yep. Because that was
Yeah.
also something I encouraged at the end of the workshop. We had little small group sessions where each of the mentors had a group of maybe 3 or 4 girls, and they just asked questions.
I
And just
love
to
it.
get them comfortable, like when you go home, do this with your parents.
I like that. You
Yeah.
encourage them to build that, work on that relationship, work on that trust,
Yeah.
and to feel confident to have that conversation, to initiate it
To initiate it.
when they are ready.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep. And then this is the Fearless Girl mantra. We didn't get to this at the workshop, but I gave it to them in their packet so that when they're alone or when they just want to read something, they can read the Fearless Girl mantra.
That's great.
Yeah.
Way to go. You did that,
you.
girl. Be proud.
I am.
Be
I'm
proud.
so honored, like the way that it unfolded. I appreciate you for like giving me words of encouragement.
Anytime.
You know how when God tell you to do something, you got to do it.
Yes. Yes.
You can't sit down on what He told you to do.
You can.
This was it, and it wasn't me. It looked like I know what I'm talking about, but it's really just God. Like, He gave me all the words, He gave me all of the ideas, He gave me all of it. So I'm grateful.
I'm grateful too. I'm grateful for you because we need more women like you.
Yeah.
And you come from the social worker background. That is your profession. That is where your heart is. That's where your passion is.
Yeah.
And how you are choosing to use those skills and that passion is just it's amazing, girl.
Well, thank you.
And it's just this glow about you. I'm telling you, I seen her and I was like, I'm about to inbox her right now.
Okay, period. And I'm so welcome. Like, I love people.
Yeah.
I love working with people. I love talking to people. Um, so I'm grateful that you even approached me. I feel like I'm coming out of this isolation period. With getting a divorce, I feel like I've been letting people go left and right. Like, I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
done with you. I'm done with you. Anything that triggers me, and it's no harm. Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's just who I'm coming into.
Yeah.
And I have to be careful. Ashley kind of reminded me, like, you got to make sure that when you're healing, you're not putting yourself out there in a way that's offensive to other people. And when you're hurting and you're not healing correctly, you can do that so easily. And
Without
I'm
even
like,
knowing.
well, I can say what I want to say because this is me and whoever don't like it. But sometimes you don't, when you want to attract people, when you want to be able to pull people in so that you can give them what God gave you, you have to be intentional about not hurting,
I agree.
not hurting.
That's
So,
a good lesson.
yeah.
That's a good lesson. And you're going to continue to grow. And you got so much more ahead of you. My goodness. And you're going to touch so many more people. You touched me. You touched the audience today. You touched Tone. Tone can't wait to work with
I
you.
know, right? No, listen, I'm calling you when we get done with this. I'm not playing. I am not playing.
I'm done. You are hilarious. He
Yeah.
said you did not ask my
Did not
permission. I love it. I love the energy. So, girl, I do. I am happy for you. I wish you the absolute best. Keep doing what you are doing. It is working. It is
Yeah.
working.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me, for giving me a voice.
Girl.
Cause I can talk all day, child. When I tell you, like, this is I'm passionate. Okay. So I appreciate you for just allowing me this space to say, just speak on stuff.
Anytime, you are always welcome. I would love to collaborate with you moving
Yes.
forward. Guys,
Yes.
she's also a fellow podcaster.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
A fellow podcaster.
Yeah.
So this ain't her first rodeo.
Yeah.
Okay. She's gonna have some new content on the way. So y'all be looking out for Miss
We
Dezi.
looking out Beyond Fearless podcast. Okay?
Yes, let's go.
And that name might change, but I'm just letting y'all know that's what it's been. So
That's what it's
we gonna
been.
talk, Tom. We gonna talk. Yeah, not a thing.
I love it. Well, again, guys, do not hesitate to reach out to Dezi. Again, she's out there to assist in any way possible. She is not going to turn anybody down with questions. If you need materials, if you want to know about anything that she's got upcoming, I always say, if it's a will, it's a way. So
Mhm.
even though she's got some other things coming up, a journey ahead of her, transitioning, she always gonna be 414.
Always. Period. And never gonna change, okay?
Never change it. So this is Mind of My Own podcast. Again, thank you for joining.
Thank
And
you.
we're gonna say goodnight.